Back then in '95, PlayStation brought their A game. They switched it up on Nintendo. Nintendo was family fun, yes, but I was growing out of that. So when PlayStation came out, they came with the adult orientated games, and when I visited Blockbuster, there was a couple of games that caught my eye. One was Silent Hill. Tried that pissed my pants. But nothing prepared me for Clock Tower. Clock Tower had me literally wearing diapers. If you're into the old retro games, look for a game called Clock Tower. A little pricey, but well worth it.
One I ever played would have probably been Resident Evil, but it wasn't until the first Silent Hill where I felt a different feeling. Within the first half hour of playing the original Silent Hill on PS1, you come across a person crucified on a chain link fence. And I had never seen anything like that in a video game up until that time, and it was very, shocking and dramatic. And I remember I was over at a friend's house playing it, and they were super Christians, and the fact that we were even having a game like that in their house would have been a big no-no. And I just remember being like, oh my god, I'm doing something in a video game that I would probably get kicked out of this house for.
Of course, games like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It's a really tongue-in-cheek look at it. It's sort of like the first time I remember seeing something that was like a horror comedy type thing, where I recognized all these sort of big monster movies and things of that nature. And I remember playing a lot of Zombies Ate My Neighbors all night sometimes and play that game. It was a pretty intense game.
I bought 2 keyboards just so we could play the typing of the dead. So it's exactly like the House of the Dead, but instead of you aiming and shooting guns, words would pop up and you had to type the words perfectly. If you type the words perfectly, that would be like a shot. And you had to do that so many times to actually kill all the zombies and monsters that came out. If you typed wrong, then you would get attacked. So it'd be great. And even like that part where like little slugs come out that jump at you, you had to type like a quick letter real fast to kill them all really fast. It's actually really fun.
Games, horror genre, Resident Evil 4, period. That game, truth is, I didn't like the series until I played Resident Evil 4. I didn't like the controls, but Resident Evil 4, the first time I played that on the GameCube, my brother was like, dude, try this. I was like, what are you playing? He's like, Resident Evil 4. I'm like, I'm good. He's like, no, dude, just 5 minutes. And 2 hours later, he's like, can I have the controller back?
I remember, so a lot of people hate on Friday the 13th, man, on Nintendo, because it's one of those games where it's kind of hard to figure out how it works, but I have a huge nostalgia anytime I hear the title song to that, man. It just gets me going, dude. Like, I hear that, it's the most incredible thing ever. I literally remember playing it with one of my friends. Like, we're sitting there, eating Cheez-Its and drinking High C and stuff, and Jason pops up. He doesn't appear in certain places. He'll just pop up out of nowhere, and it scared the crap out of me, man.
It's Resident Evil 7 and Outlast. So you actually had to hide from the monster and run and try to be really resilient with everything that you have in your surroundings. With Resident Evil 7, they give you only just a little bit of ammo, so you have to be really conservative and know when to waste your bullets whenever you can.
Haunting starring the Poltergeist on Genesis. Even though that one was more campy, funny, it still was kind of horror because you basically had to set the traps to scare the people. It was kind of like, oddly enough, it felt a little bit more like something like The Sims, but with a little bit of action to it.
If you're going to get a little more obscure, and maybe it's not my favorite, but definitely memorable for me, is Dr. Chaos on the NES.
Right.
Oh man, that game used to scare. I know. I always tell him that game scared me so much when I was a kid. I would run and hide whenever the monsters would like jump out of the room. The first person modes, when you go into the rooms, sometimes the monsters would like jump out and try to attack you, and it would scare me. I'd drop the NES controller, run out of the room screaming like as a 4-year-old.